Hello, and welcome back to your spiritual journey. Today, we're diving into a topic that many of us face but few truly understand: the power of solitude. Let's be honest, in a world that values social connections, achievements, and constant interaction, the thought of being alone can feel, well, a bit terrifying, right? But what if I told you that solitude is actually an essential step in your spiritual journey? A powerful space where transformation, healing, and growth happen. If you've ever felt the call to retreat, to pause, or to simply be alone, this video is for you. In today's discussion, we'll uncover why periods of solitude are not something to fear, but to embrace how this alone time can lead you to the deepest, most authentic version of yourself. So, sit back, breathe deeply, and let's explore the profound beauty of solitude together. If you're ready to journey inward and discover the wisdom hidden in silence, stay tuned. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe for more content on spiritual growth, personal transformation, and finding your true self. Let's get started. It might not feel this way now, but solitude is a hidden gift. When you're on a spiritual journey, alone time isn't just likely, it's inevitable. Those who walk the path of self-discovery find themselves navigating stretches of solitude, sometimes even years of it. During these periods, you face your rawest self, without distractions. Solitude reveals you to you in ways nothing else can. But let's be real, this isn't something we always choose. Often, the discomfort comes first. Suddenly, we're faced with a quietness that's almost deafening, and the ego starts to resist. It craves validation, applause, anything to drown out the silence. And in this silence, the ego sometimes lashes out, asking questions like, "Why me?" or "Why am I alone when everyone else seems to be happy and connected?" This resistance from the ego isn't just a passing thought. It's a potent barrier. It convinces you that your path is harder, that you're being left out in some way. But here's the truth. Everyone who walks a spiritual path confronts this solitude. While others may seem joyful, your journey is about finding joy and completeness in solitude. The beauty of this alone time? You become aware that you're so much more than your ego's complaints. It's like finding a sanctuary within yourself, a place where growth and self-awareness blossom. Solitude stops being lonely and transforms into fertile ground for discovery, creativity, and insight. In the quiet, you connect with a deeper self, a version of you that's often drowned out by the noise of daily life. Søren Kierkegaard, the philosopher, once observed, "The crowd is untruth." Away from the crowd, you're given a rare chance to touch your own truth and to emerge whole, not fragmented by outside opinions. You begin to see that your cravings for external validation, whether it's through social gatherings, approval, or attention, start to lose their appeal. What once seemed so enticing fades away gently, like leaves changing with the season. You start to crave solitude in a way you once craved company. This isn't a loss, but a profound shift, a metamorphosis. It's a natural part of your spiritual growth. You'll find joy in the simple things, the sound of trees in the wind, the peace of an empty room. Solitude lets you experience the world through new eyes. Your soul aligns with itself, finding a sense of unity and purpose. Imagine the ego as a restless fly, constantly flitting about in search of something sweet and temporary. The spirit, however, is like a butterfly, content to rest and absorb the beauty around it. In solitude, you're like that butterfly, at peace and receptive to all that life is trying to teach you. When we resist solitude, we feel restless because we're resisting our own evolution. Henry Nouwen, another spiritual thinker, calls solitude the furnace of transformation. It's a sacred space, a crucible where old identities are burned away and new, truer ones are forged. This call to solitude isn't for the faint-hearted. It's an act of bravery. Facing yourself without distractions takes courage, persistence, and the willingness to dig deeper. Most people avoid this inner journey because it's hard to see beyond the immediate discomfort. It's so much easier to cling to the comfort of the crowd, but those who push forward, those who dare to sit with themselves, find that solitude is anything but empty. Instead, it's a lush, expansive space where seeds of wisdom can grow. These seeds don't sprout overnight. They require nourishing stillness, but eventually they transform into towering trees of understanding and peace. Walking a spiritual path is like entering an untouched wilderness. There are no clear trails, no reassuring signposts, and no crowd to validate your journey. It's you, alone with the vastness of your inner being. And in that solitude, you'll shed preconceived notions, releasing the social and spiritual narratives that no longer resonate. A study from the journal Psychology of Religion and Spirituality found that people undergoing profound spiritual transformations often experience a breakdown of their former beliefs. In other words, they lose the old ways they understood the world. It's liberating, yet isolating. You'll realize that much of what society values is just one story, one version of truth that may work for others but not for you. As you shed these outdated beliefs, you may feel like a snake shedding its skin is a natural, but sometimes painful process. Rainer Maria Rilke, the poet, said, "The only journey is the one within." It's the ego that fights this process because it knows it's being stripped of its familiar comforts. But if you can endure the solitude and silence, there's freedom waiting for you on the other side. The freedom of a bird finally finding its wings, discovering the sky within. In solitude, you encounter truths about yourself and your journey. This path demands resilience and grit. Though you may feel ready, the real test lies in your willingness to embrace this calling. The spiritual path doesn't care for your plans or desires. It moves on its own terms. You can either resist, making your journey harder, or surrender, allowing the process to unfold naturally. As you progress, you'll find that this journey isn't about learning more but unlearning, shedding layers rather than adding new ones. It's a process of releasing false identities, of peeling away the layers of what you thought you needed to be. You realize that every time you remove a layer, you come closer to the truth of who you are. A Harvard study on happiness found that strong social bonds contribute to a fulfilling life. But the kind of bonds you seek on a spiritual journey are different. They're impermanent but powerful. They're not based on clinging to others for validation, but on brief, enlightening connections that guide you. These moments of companionship, whether through a chance encounter, a powerful book, or the presence of a pet, are all like travelers crossing a bridge, leaving footprints for you to follow. In solitude, you learn to trust the process and discover love that isn't sentimental or conditional, but deep and raw, accepting even the darkest parts of you. Alan Watts, the philosopher, said, "The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance." Solitude lets you join this dance, finding unity in the stillness, aligning yourself with a greater purpose. Your commitment to truth becomes your compass, steering you with an inner calling that goes beyond the ego's desires. This isn't a restrictive commitment, it's liberating. You're no longer distracted by the noise of the outside world. Instead, you're tuned into your inner truth. When your choices narrow to focus on what truly matters, life becomes more meaningful. In solitude, the present moment becomes your sanctuary. Instead of longing for what's missing, you appreciate what's present. Surrendering to what is doesn't mean giving up. It means opening yourself to new possibilities. Each step you take, from one unknown moment to the next, reveals the path designed just for you. This journey into solitude is both an art and a practice. How can you make the most of it? Begin with intention. Even a simple walk can become an act of self-discovery if you're mindful. Studies show that moments of solitude can improve emotional well-being, so cherish them. Use this time to nourish your intellect and spirit, whether through reading, podcasts, or quiet reflection. Allow others' wisdom to inspire you, and listen deeply to your own inner voice. Allow yourself to feel freely. If you need to laugh, laugh. If you need to cry, let the tears flow. Embracing your emotions is a key part of understanding them. Turn your attention inward, focusing on what genuinely matters to you. This solitude will reveal truths you didn't know you had, illuminating your path forward. Transformation isn't always easy, and that's okay. It's natural to feel uncomfortable or unsettled. As the saying goes, an unexamined life isn't worth living. This solitude is your space to examine your life, to allow unfiltered truths to emerge. You'll come out of it not only more self-aware, but profoundly changed, ready for the next chapter. The journey may seem endless, with challenges at every turn. You might feel empty at times, even after trying every technique, reading every book, seeking answers. But as the writer Anais Nin said, And the day came when the risk to remain tight in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. This solitude isn't punishment, it's preparation. You're not just passing time, you're in a chrysalis, undergoing metamorphosis. This solitude shields you from distractions and allows you to emerge as a truer version of yourself. Relationships formed now may even hold you back, as they're often rooted in the old you you're working to outgrow. In solitude, you confront fears, beliefs, and habits, realizing these aren't essential to who you are. They're layers you can shed. Research shows that solitude increases self-awareness and improves stress management. So embrace this time alone. Let it be the soil in which you plant the seeds of self-discovery. Soon, you'll re-enter the world with a renewed sense of self, ready to meet relationships that align with who you are becoming, not who you were. You're not alone. You're simply in a sacred dialogue with yourself. The process is one of release and discovery, peeling back layers to reveal your most authentic self. When you're ready, new connections will find you, connections based on shared truths rather than mutual needs. Until then, honor this solitude. Let it be your sacred space. Listen closely and you'll hear the call of your soul. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated, like, subscribe, and share. Consider joining us on your spiritual journey for exclusive content and to support our journey together. Until next time.